Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about my ninth KvK. KvK or Kingdom versus Kingdom is the biggest event in Rise of Kingdoms. In KvK, kingdoms will fight to get the best rewards. Allied kingdoms who get the Great Ziggurat, well, we consider them as the winners. We have several KvK formats like Endless War, Distant Journey, Light versus Darkness, Heroic Anthem, etc. I have played old Season 1 KvK format with Kingdom 1096, Kingdom of Edo. Wow, that was a long time ago. After a brutal defeat in that first KvK of mine, then I migrate to Kingdom 1235, Kingdom of Soninke. This kingdom has been my home for at least 7 KvK. Kingdom 1235 never lost Light versus Darkness and Season of Conquest KvK formats. In this 9th KvK, Kingdom 1235 will face the hardest challenge in 1235 history. Will this kingdom keep the undefeated record in Season of Conquest KvK? Let's see. This 9th KvK of mine was held around August and September 2021, and Season of Conquest has also several maps. Heroic Anthem is one of them, and at the time, my kingdom played this KvK map. In Heroic Anthem, kingdoms will be separated between 4 camps. We have fire, earth, wind, and water. For matchmaking purpose, the developer have made 2 kingdoms in each camp for this KvK. For what I know so far, the developer count power of 300 most powerful governor in each kingdom. With that power data, they create a matchmaking so that the fight in every KvK will be equal. Let's see what we have this time. Fire Camp has Kingdom 2036 and 1525. Both are strong Korean kingdom. Most of players in this camp are Korean. From what I heard from Archer Den Discord group, they are savage, full of fighter that will fight till the end. Earth Camp has 1235 and 2040. Both are well-balanced and active international kingdoms. One of them has undefeated record in Season of Conquest KvK format. I played with my main account here, in Earth Camp. Water Camp has Kingdom 2028 and 1723. From what I heard, this kingdom is very active, even though they don't have many high power players compared with kingdoms in Fire Camp and Earth Camp. Well, Water Camp have many hyperactive medium and small power player, but one of these kingdom will face massive migration wave from their kingdom. This KvK will be the last KvK together for some governor. Last chance to fight together before splitting to a different road ahead. I don't know many things about Wind Camp. This camp has Kingdom 1805 and 3070. I think most players in this kingdom are European. Both have shown me that they are very active by doing a very good job in pre-KvK event stage 1, killing marauders. Well, they finished not the last at least. Too bad I don't have time to record the pre-KvK event. This event starts before KvK start. Kingdoms must kill spawn marauders, destroy spawn fort, and train troops to get the best prize. Earth and Wind Camp dominates and win some good prize in this event, while Water and Fire Camp choose to save their strength and resources for KvK final battles. In every KvK, it is common for a camp to ally with another camp. Of course, it all depends on distribution of rewards at the end of the event. Ziggurat is the biggest prize up to grabs. The winning side will certainly control the Ziggurat. Ziggurat is that structure building in the middle of KvK map. But who will conquer the ziggurat at the end of the event? Who will conquer the ziggurat for the first time? Then there is how many Crusader fortress we will get and you will get, and so on and so on and so on. I mean, deciding who is our ally is not easy. This is not an easy task for the diplomacy team of every kingdom or camp. In choosing allies, at glance we can see from various camp related data, especially how much power or kill they are. But sometimes it doesn't show anything. It's a little hard. I'm not a part of the diplomacy team, but whatever the result, I will appreciate it, because it's not easy. From what I heard, Fire Camp and Water Camp are both approaching Earth Camp. Negotiations are not going well in terms of rewards sharing. As I recall, both Fire Camp and Water Camp want to control the ziggurat at the end of this KvK. Somehow, suddenly the Water Camp allied itself with the Fire Camp. Water Camp is willing to give final control of ziggurat to Fire Camp. Maybe there are actually other details, I don't know. But in the end, the Earth Camp decided to ally with the Wind Camp. So this time, in this KvK, we will have Fire Camp and Water Camp versus Earth Camp and Wind Camp. In the image I showed at this moment, there are various zones in the Heroic Anthem KvK map. Each zone is separated by several gates. I give those gates some color. These gates will open over time. The first gates that open are all yellow gates that separate the zone at the end of the map. Let's just say North, South, East and West zone. Automatically the West and East zone become safe zone without war. All because fire is allied with water and earth is allied with wind. Thus, the first war will take place in the north and south zone. Fire against earth and wind against water. The question is, who won? Alright, let's see. In the north, Earth Camp won the fight. This is Earth Camp's fortress. We can see that from the Earth logo there. Fire Camp retreated back to their safe zone. All we can see from the flags and fortifications, it all belongs to the Earth Camp. Meanwhile, Wind Camp suffered defeat in the south. This time the Fire Camp ally, the Water Camp, managed to win the battle. Both the battle in the north and in the south didn't last too long. As I recall, less than 8 hours it was all over. West Zone automatically belongs to Fire and Water Camp. See? Z, Z, Z is actually Fire Camp's main coalition, and WIT or WET is Water Camp's main coalition. In this KvK format, each camp consists of a kingdom or kingdoms. Within every kingdom there are alliances. Within these alliances are players or governors. The coalition itself consists of several alliances contained in the camp. Each zone automatically belongs to Wind and Earth Camp. Let's see, ABS or ABS is a main coalition inside Wind Camp, while FUK is a coalition in Earth Camp. Earth Camp doesn't put their main coalition there. We cannot see ZIG in there, or ZIG. ZIG is Earth Camp main coalition actually. When controlling the zones, the buff obtained only the speed of running, not a very strong buff. Controlling these 4 zones does not guarantee KvK victory. If we observe, the zone is not the way to the center of the map. The center of the map with pink gates is the King's Land zone where ziggurats are located. That's where the decisive battle will take place. Unfortunately, after experiencing defeat, there was a feud within the Wind Camp. Blaming each other began to happen. Some players, well, there are rumors that some players will migrate or have been migrate to another kingdom. Oh my. Migration in the middle of KvK, whose outcome is undetermined. This was a harsh reality for Earth and Wind Camp. Meanwhile, the Fire Camp seems to remain quiet and save their energy for the next battle, waiting for the right moment to attack and defend. The next gate that opens is the Orange Gate. The next zone that opens is not a war zone. Each camp must prepare defense, resource, and tactics to face the battle when the Green Gate opens. Well, it's time to build, farm, and fight barbs. When the Green Gate opens, we will have two battlefields, up in the north and down in the south. Let's call it a north fight and a south fight. Let's see the north gate. ZZZ is Fire Camp, Zig is Earth Camp. In the north, it appears that the Earth Camp managed to seize the gate for the first time. They got the gate for the first time, but the battle is not over because behind each of these gates there are alliances fortresses that make a long time to be destroyed. So a camp must hold the gate. A camp must hold the gate while burning the fortresses. That's not an easy task for both Fire and Earth Camp. The battle at North Gate, the North Green Gate, is also very fierce and very long. Okay, let's go to the south. ABS is Wind Camp and Wet is Water Camp. As we can see here, Water Camp can conquer the Green Gate and enter the Wind Camp's zone, and now Water Camp must burn and destroy Wind's fortress. The fort belonging to the Wind Camp that caught fire are being repaired. This is not going to end soon. We see a fierce fight inside the Wind Camp zone, and Wind Camp is, I think they are still trying to survive by trying to control the open field fight. A few hours later, Earth Camp lost the North Green Gate, so many Fire Camp March came in. Boy oh boy, where is everyone? Sleeping time? When we look to the battle in the south, we see the 235L flag. Okay, it was one of the alliances within Earth Camp. It's part of Zig coalition at that moment. We can conclude that Earth Camp came to the battlefield in the south through the East Green Gate. Like it or not, Earth Camp had to go south to help the Wind Camp. Most likely, the Water Camp will build a fortress in the middle of the Wind Camp area, jump over the barricades of Wind Camp forts. If it's left unchecked, the Wind Camp will lose access to King's Land and Ziggurat in the middle. Besides, it would be very dangerous if the Water Camp could build a flag until it touched the East Green Gate. Earth Camp will be better attacked from two directions. When helping Wind Camp, Earth lose control on North Green Gate. Fire Camp can enter Earth Camp zone. Earth Camp players who place their cities not in their alliance territory can be rallied by Fire Camp, and that's what happened. But some of them are traps. The city with the wrong alliance were placed deep in the Earth Camp territory. After the rally from Fire Camp touched the target city, the troops had to go home separately. Then The fire camp troops returning from the rally will be completely attacked until it's zero. It's like a feeding frenzy. Everything happened until finally the fire camp stopped attacking the city and focused more on destroying the forts. The fort of course, Earth Camp forts. A few hours later, the fire camp troops were repulsed. The long battle for the North Green Gate continues. At the time, the best commander to lead the defense was Zenobia. It's 2021. Old meta commander like Attila Takeda will be blunt when meeting Zenobia. The newest archer commander that just came out was Gilgamesh. This commander can keep up with Zenobia, but still there will be various other factors that influence. Zenobia and Gilgamesh are two commanders that are often used in this KvK. Back to the battle in the south. Windcamp continues to try to defend their force. There we again see the commander Zenobia leading the defense. Look, at that time, Xiangyu was the newest and strongest cavalry commander in leading the rally. Xiangyu is often paired with Chandragupta to attack the opposing structure. Zenobia is the best infantry commander to defend the structure. For cavalry, we have Jadwiga to defend structure. At that time, Jadwiga was also used several times, even though it was less popular than Zenobia, because there is actually a circular pattern. Infantry excels against cavalry, cavalry excels against archer, and archer excels against infantry. We see Pakal Harald's pair being used to break into Jadwiga. Pakal was the newest infantry commander at that time. Pakal and Harald are often used to lead infantry rallies. They have good anti-swarming ability. As time went on, the fight in the north involved many rallies. One of them was when Jadwiga was attacked by two rallies led by Xiangyu, belonging to Earth Camp. Then the Fire Camp launched a counter rally from Attila Takeda and Pakal. When these long rallies happen, Earth Camp must continue to help the fight in the south. This is hard for Earth Camp. In the south, we again see the Water Camp's attempt to burn down the fort belonging to the Wind Camp. Again and again. So far, Wind Camp managed to secure the zone and fortress. Good job, Wind Camp. Good job. A nice try, Water Camp. Outside the Green Gate, Earth Camp managed to build a fort that makes Earth Camp zone touch the Fire Camp zone. In this condition, Earth Camp can attack and burn Fire Camp flags that are in direct contact. After the ELS, the ELS flag burns out, the Earth Camp tried to build a fort there. This is a job that requires consistency. A fort is hard to destroy, but building it takes a long time. Earth Camp must survive until construction is complete. Unfortunately, this attempt failed in the end. Earth Camp failed to send enough troops to occupy and defend the area. Fire Camp managed to close the hole by building a new flag. When Fire Camp players, who were mostly from Korea, were resting, of course, if they came from the same time zone, we know the sleeping time of our opponent. Earth Camp managed to take control of the North Green Gate when the Fire Camp players are sleeping. Most of them are sleeping. Some Earth Camp players also start to railing Fire Camp cities that were in the wrong Alliance territory. Rather than being ambushed on the way home, some players chose to wander around looking for weak cities to swarm over, or they just kill themselves by attacking barbarians. Here, Earth Camp begins to rally forts belonging to the Fire Camp. Commanders like Pakal, Gilgamesh, and others began to be used to break into Zenobia, belonging to Fire Camp. But the Fire Camp wake up, they will repair their forts and began to push for the gate. This is a very long war. People start to running out resources and troops. Don't forget, Earth Camp still help Wind Camp at Southern Battlefield. When we look to the south, we see that the Water Camp managed to build a fortress in the middle of the Wind Camp zone. Oh man, this is a nightmare for Earth and Wind Camp. MR or Mr. It's an alliance within Water Camp. This is a very bad news for Water Camp and Wind Camp. Refusing to surrender to circumstances, Earth Camp tries to build a fort in the middle of Fire Camp zone. Earth Camp must quickly silence the Fire Camp before it's too late. Unfortunately, this attempt failed. The Fire Camp is too strong. This time, Fire Camp built a fort that made its territory touch the Earth Camp area. Fire Camp sent a mother ball and attempt to destroy the surrounding flags. At this time, Fire Camp is dominating and able to go deep into Earth Camp zone. Meanwhile, in the south, the Water Camp area is getting wider. They manage to destroy more and more Wind Camp's flag, and Water Camp managed to build their flag to expand their territory there. Water Camp even began to attack Earth Camp's flag there. Zig is Earth Camp and Wet is Water Camp. To face this unfortunate situation, Earth Camp built more forts within the Wind Camp area. Together with Wind Camp, they are trying to secure access to the gate and the building that provides buff for the Wind Camp. In the end, all access to King's Land and Ziggurat was secured. All sides have flag or fortress that touch the pink gate to King's Land. When the pink gate open, well, everyone must control their own pink gate. All camp must launch attack to enter the center of the map, start building forts and flag towards the ziggurat in the middle. A fierce battle took place between Earth Camp with Fire Camp and Water Camp. Though they began to meet each other and war broke out. This is 1 versus 2 in King's Land. Where is Wind Camp? We see it turned out that Wind Camp failed to control their gate because right near the gate there was already Water Camp and Fire Camp try to block them. The Fire Camp they came from the West Green Gate, similar to how Earth Camp came into the Wind Camp territory. The consequences are fatal. Wind Camp failed to control their gate. Earth Camp also has to fight alone in the middle, inside the King's Land. More bad news for Earth and Wind Camp. Eventually, Water Camp managed to control the gate near the Wind Camp. Wind Camp is increasingly battered, surrounded from various sides. Fire and water managed to separate Earth and Wind. Earth and Wind look as if they are surrounded from various angles. Boy oh boy. What will Earth Camp do? They received attack from the Fire Camp on the west side and the Water Camp on the south side, inside the Kingsland of course. Here Earth Camp trying to push to the south to free the Wind Camp from the outside part, so that the Wind Camp can enter the Kingsland. Unfortunately, Earth Camp had to do that while defending its territory that managed to touch the ziggurat. Here we can see long rallies and never-ending field fight. At that moment, both sides have new archer commander, Amani Torre. Amani does a great job to garrison a structure. She is an alternate for Zenobia and Jadwiga. She is an archer commander. Of course, how we use Zenobia, Jadwiga, or Amani Torre, it depends on situation. After fighting for more than 24 hours, Earthcamp finally lost the territory that touched the ziggurat. They lost touch on the ziggurat. Look like it's 1 versus 2 this time is not easy. Long time ago, Kingdom 1235, one of Earthcamp member, managed to win a 1 versus 2 battle. This time it's totally different. Fire and Water Camp are very good. A few hours later, Fire Camp managed to completely block the Earth Camp from touching the Great Ziggurat. Earth Camp is losing more and more territory in Kingsland. When Earth Camp was getting more pressed, suddenly Earth Camp changed the code name of the coalition and alliance to resemble the code name of the alliance and coalition in Water Camp. This is indeed to make it difficult for Fire Camp and Water Camp that surround Earth Camp. Unfortunately, the tactic of changing the name is less successful. It actually caused an internal debate. Finally, one of the kings of Earth Camp, rotation king of Earth Camp, migrates to another kingdom. Ouch! Things are getting more difficult for Earth Camp. Plus, more and more Earth Camp players are getting zeroed. Earth Camp even had to return to defend their pink gate. They must go back to their pink gate to defend it. Over time, Earth Camp will lose access to Kingsland. In the end, Earth Camp lost access to Kingsland. The majority of players returned to the starting zone at the top right corner of the map. A few hours later, Fire Camp managed to expand its territory, piercing into the zone belonging to the Earth Camp. Where did Earth Camp go? Back to Home Kingdom? Is it over yet? Far from finished, Earth Camp apparently moved the battlefield to the south, joined with Wind Camp. Now Earth Camp and Wind Camp are not separated, both are in the same place. Unfortunately, the location is a bit far from Kingsland. The journey to win this KvK from fire and water seems a bit long. Not impossible, but it's long, consuming a lot of resources speed up for troops. Unfortunately, all the time only Earth Camp appears to fight. Wind Camp was exhausted. Over time, the war returned to 1 against 2, Earth against fire and water. After a long battle, Earth Camp finally had to retreat and admit the victory of Fire and Water Camp. With the retreat of Earth and Wind Camp, Fire and Water managed to take over Ziggurat and win KvK this time. Here I personally see wind camp get beat up very bad. In a 1 versus 1 against water, they lose. I think that's still normal. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. We have allies in other camp, right? So don't lose hope. The thing that makes the wind camp conditions even more broken is the migration of some of their fighters in the middle of KvK. Migration in the middle of unfinished KvK is not a good thing, but it all depends on the decision of each individual, and I really respect it. I see that the remaining wind camp players are still trying to fight, but their power is indeed limited. Water itself appears as a camp with a very large number of active population. When it comes to quantity, Water Camp is #1 champion. Water Camp has many small and medium fighters who are willing to sacrifice their resources, speed ups, and troops. While Earth Camp actually consists of 2 strong kingdoms, so does Fire. Earth and Fire both have great players with good commanders and equipment. During KvK, there was a long debate in Lost Kingdom chat about bots. Fire Camp is suspected of using illegal bots or softwares. From what I know, 1525 and 2036, both from Fire Camp, use like external software for title distribution. I personally have no problem with this. The problem is, besides that, the Fire Camp makes somewhat suspicious move. They have so many perfect move together, both when doing field fighting as well as rally and garrison. Well, the Fire Camp reason that they were doing intense online communication, and they use multi-instances to fight. I myself have tried to use multi-instances with some of my farm account. The result failed miserably, lagging. Well, maybe my device and internet connection are not good. The question is, does Firecamp use auto attack, auto join garrison, or auto join rally? Earthcamp have issued complaint about this to the developer, but until the KvK ends, there is no action from the developers, so means that all the accusation could be less true, right? But I have theory that Firecamp, that most of them have good and expensive computer, equipped with high-speed internet connection, a very good one, and then they use multi-instances like synchronized in BlueStack, and then they use macro in it. But this is debatable. Is it fair for people to use macro? But nevertheless, since no action from the developers, then I guess this is legal. I have nothing to say about that. The bottom line is, Fire and Water Camp has won. For Kingdom 1235 at Earth Camp, will be their first season of Conquest KvK defeat. At the end of KvK, inside 1235, there were debates and division within the kingdom, of course. So many people fight and blame each other, but I hope in the next KvK, this kingdom can reunite and win another KvK in the future. The Fire and Water Camp chose to control all areas, and Crusader Camp, they do not share KvK rewards with the losing party. There were no agreement there. Almost all KvK rewards goes to Water and Fire Camp. This is something that 1235 never did when 1235 won actually, but this is not a big problem, because for me, winners deserve to get the best prizes. Congratulations to Water and Fire Camp. Good luck next time for Earth and Wind Camp. See you later. Bye.